Greetings, Happy New Year. This is Paul from the MLA Foundation, where we reclaim management to serve people and society. So I originally had a video planned talking about how to achieve any New Year's resolutions that you set for yourself. And by the way, if you're interested in that video, please subscribe. It'll come out shortly, probably next week. But I decided to postpone that because an interesting case popped up. So this post is a viral Reddit food delivery app confession. I'm gonna go ahead and throw up the post on screen. Feel free to pause it to take a look. So a quick summary of the post is a back-end developer for a major food delivery app is posting this anonymously due to some NDA. They are exposing several unethical practices that the company and the app uses to maximize their profits at the expense of both drivers and the customers. There's a lot in there. It's worth looking into. So this Reddit post is very possibly an AI hoax. The chances are very high. TechCrunch did a deep dive investigation on this and discovered that there was a lot of AI usage in the pictures that were provided and the documents to support their claims of these immoral tactics. I'll leave the links below so you can take a look at all of these for yourself to make up your own minds in terms of if it is AI or not, but the chances are quite high. With that being said, the public backlash and response to this is quite substantial, and that to me signals that there is a lot of mismanagement in place when it comes to these food delivery apps. This sounds real because essentially it matches reality. A lot of these corporate giants have long operated without ethics, accountability, or honor, so people have come to be expecting that this type of actions are in place. I figured this is worth talking about from the perspective of MLA. There are 4 key immoral tactics mentioned in this post that I'd like to quickly cover. So number 1, the priority delivery scam. So this means that the optional priority fee that we select in our delivery app does not actually speed up the delivery. What the company does is they make this feature feel faster by deliberately downgrading the non-priority orders. So the idea is that it doesn't actually provide any value. It just makes the other ones slower with the idea of that prioritizes the priority orders. So the second one is this Desperation Score. This is supposed to be a hidden metric that tracks how desperate the drivers are for cash based on their acceptance behavior. So if they accept any and all orders immediately in a very short period of time, they're labeled as desperate. These high desperation drivers are deliberately shown lower paying orders because the algorithm knows they are willing to accept them, which would mean they would save costs from the higher paid orders and show those to more casual drivers to get them more engaged. So it's like the orders that nobody wants, they give it to these desperate drivers. The third is this driver benefit fee that is actually going to a lobbying fund. This upgraded $1.50 that you see in your apps, that's supposed to be some sort of regulatory response fee or driver benefit fee. These are actually going to a corporate slush fund that funds a lobbying organization against driver unions and against labor protection laws. Doesn't go to the drivers themselves. And number 4 is tip substantiation. The idea here is that the food delivery app uses predictive modeling to dynamically lower a driver's pay rate if the customer who placed the order is predicted to leave a higher tip. They're using the customer's generosity to essentially subsidize the company's labor costs. And the driver's total pay does not change regardless of how much you actually pay them or actually tip them. This is essentially a second version of tip theft, which is highly unethical. From the perspective of MLA and management, I figured this would be very useful as a case study. Let's assume that this is a real post and that these immoral tactics by food delivery apps are actually being used. As managers, there's a high chance that these justifications and rationales will be presented to us. How would we as MLA practitioners respond here? The goal is to be able to identify, counter, and prevent these immoral tactics from ever being implemented. So I'd like to try and make this argument from the perspective of the food delivery app, the corporate team, and then respond to that argument or defense from the perspective of MLA. So one possible defense that the corporation might make is, we are prioritizing customer value by keeping our fees low. This way we can stay focused on delivering results for our customers. To that, the MLA reply would be, you are confusing value with price. And you are also defining results way too narrowly. So Drucker would always define value from the customer's perspective. It's not quality or price strictly. Non-price factors like service and speed are really key here, okay? So when you degrade the standard service to make priority services feel faster, this is an ethical violation. This fails the Drucker, what does this actually do for the customer's test? The answer to that would be nothing. It doesn't really do anything. It just delays the other orders. This is an action of knowingly doing harm. Companies need to be radically transparent about the value that they offer. So if the company really believes that they are offering value by keeping their prices low, how they make their prices low should be transparent. It should be a marketing point, their unique selling proposition. We keep fees low, or we keep our prices low by doing X or by doing Y. Be clear about what it is the customers are getting and are not getting for their lower fees. Another possible defense the corporation might make is, oh, our margins are too low. This is the only way we could really stay competitive. The MLA response here would be, low margins means you need more productivity, focus, and innovation, not deception and predation. So profits are necessary to cover costs, the cost of capital, and to ensure future projects have resources. It's not an optional goal. Margins should not be ignored. Profit is necessary. But we need to reject profit maximization because it harms legitimacy, trust, and then the long-term viability of the company and the industry. So business models built on deception or exploitation are essentially short-term cash grabs. They're not viable performing institutions. In the long run, they'll face consequences, such as high employee turnover, government regulations, or just the overall reputation collapse of the company itself. So for these low margin industries, the solution we need to focus on is how do we raise performance, redesign work, especially the service work, instead of competing via some sort of deception or cost-cutting measures. Management as a liberal art opposes deception. It does not oppose profits. Another possible defense that corporate might make is that we are public. We had to do this for our shareholders. If we didn't and our earnings went down, the stock prices would plummet and we'd enter into a capital death spiral. The MLA response here is that focused on maintaining profitability does not mean you get a pass to do unethical actions. Essentially, there is only one single standard of ethics, the same rules for everybody. There's no such thing as special business ethics. Shareholder pressure is not an excuse for bad behavior. When leaders try to justify their unethical behavior through their positions or their so-called fiduciary responsibility, it leads to a lot of moral backlash. Yes, institutions must remain performing, but they also need to be transparent. Management cannot hide behind the profit motive, like, oh, we just need to be profitable, and then do anything they want to justify that. Leaders need to expect that their behaviors are going to be made public, so all decisions should be decided as if they are public-facing. So things like hidden fees or fake scores should be anticipated that they will be known to the public. And if it fails the public's test and we know that there will be backlash, then these decisions shouldn't be made or should not be favored. If a company can't compete fairly and morally, then it needs to exit from the industry. Do not use shareholder rhetoric to launder these unethical tactics. Another possible defense corporate might make is, we are just exploiting opportunities to better serve our customers, something Drucker often taught, right? No, that's not what Drucker taught. The MLA reply here is that you are misinterpreting what opportunity means. You are confusing customer service with manipulation. So Drucker's opportunities means converting a real customer need into a real service or a real product. It's tied to actual performance. Deception is not an opportunity. It's a short-term exploitation of trust. Businesses cannot use ethical language to justify what would be unethical for anybody else. Well, those are some possible defenses that corporate might try to make to justify their actions, and the responses that we as MLA practitioners would probably make to help counter and prevent these from ever being implemented. The idea here is that we want to be able to identify when immoral actions or immoral choices are presented to us so we can choose and do the right thing. The whole idea behind MLA, or management as a liberal art, is that we need to make sure our companies are performing and providing value to our customers to help society function and help people live their best lives. At the end of the day, management is there to help people and make sure that we are contributing to benefiting society for everybody. As always, thank you so much for your time and attention. Please like and subscribe and share to other people if you found value. I'll see you in the next one, okay? Take care. Bye-bye now.